up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Middle Child Podcast with your girl, Royal Bowes. And as always, I am so happy to have you here. You are appreciated, you are seen, and most of all, you are loved. Thank you again for joining me for another episode. I have lost track of what episode we're on, but I'm super excited because your girl has been consistent. But without further ado, you already know I love to introduce my guests. So I want to introduce you to a woman who is I don't even want to put a title on her, but she's a social media influencer. Y'all, she used to do my faux locks back in the day.
That's how we met, right?
Just an entrepreneur sensation guru. You're gonna learn so much about this amazing lady. But without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce her. It is Miss Jenny O, aka Bay. What's up?
What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, guys. you look, it's so crazy. The whole time when you were introducing me, like my stomach is over here rumbling. I'm hungry, y'all. Yeah. I'm hungry. It's time to eat. But good morning.
Good morning. I do got you here early. I think you're probably my earliest guest.
Hey, I have a time frame that I have to give people, being that I am a mother of four. Yes. Like, my day is between 9 and 1 because I drop the kids off, all 4 of them, and then I have to pick them up by a certain time. So that time frame is the time that I have to give the world.
Really? Yeah. How is it being a mother of 4?
It's so many different words, and in this season, I'm making sure that I'm using my words wisely. It's a blessing because not only am I helping them grow up, they're helping me grow up. Ooh. Yeah, so it's not a word to describe it besides blessing. It's a blessing.
Okay, so I guess if I could describe your life at this present time in one word, it would be blessed.
It would be blessed above anything that I could ever think of, and that's why it's Bay. You know, that's what Bay stands for. Blessed above everything. I can't complain. God's been very good.
That's good. So how did you come up with the concept Bay?
So Bay came around, everybody wants to be a Bay. Like, you know, when you start talking to people, that's Bay, that's Bay, that's Bay. And I was in this season where I went for that. Like, I knew ultimately that I wanted a companion, but I did not want that title of a Bay because people throw it around so just loosely. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I was beginning to date my then boyfriend, which now is my husband. He put a ring on it.
Okay.
And that he would be like, Bay, this. And I'm like, I am not your Bay. And he would be like, yes, you are. And I told him, if I'm Bay, then it's like a blessing to have me. Yeah. So we blessed above everything else. And he was like, yeah, that's Bay. And we was like, oh, that blessed above everything. Yeah. That's definitely Bay. And that's how it came around. It stuck. I had no dreams like in that season that God was preparing me for what now will be a multi-million-dollar company. You
nice.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Bay.
Right?
Yeah. Right. So that's how that came along.
Okay. So just to dive a little deeper into your personal life, do you also feel like that was the moment when you realized like that was him? Like, this is my person?
Well, it's crazy. I don't think that was the moment. Okay. I think it was a little bit before then when we initially began dating, and one of the first times he came over to my house. And in this season, I had just gotten me and my 2 kids, because I was a single mama too. I had gotten us in the house. I had lost my job, and when me and my husband began dating, I was on the cuff of like just adjusting to this new season. And in the new season, my oven wasn't working. It was missing a valve. And so when he came over, I don't even know, we were in the kitchen talking, and he asked me about something, and I told him that since we had been in the home, that we have not been using the oven. I had been doing everything on a hot plate. And to make a long story short, the next time he came over to my house, ladies, he had the peace
Yeah.
to fix the problem.
Yeah.
You understand?
Uh-huh.
I know a lot of times we be looking for Mr. Right to do all this extravagant things, but it be the little things.
Yeah.
Like his concern was me and my kids eating. And so I was like, okay, I fucks with y'all.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, okay. So, yeah.
Okay. I was just curious because it's so interesting when you're able to be equally yoked with your partner, and for y'all to even come up with like not necessarily a business idea, but to just plant that seed for you to just again become a multi-million-dollar industry.
Yeah.
So that's you again, blessed.
Bless.
Okay, so from that point, what was like your first business idea building off of that?
So with that point, at this time, I had been introduced to network marketing.
Okay.
Never, never really dove into what network marketing was in general. Every time you hear a person, in my surroundings at that time, when they talked about it, they would always be like a pyramid scheme. And so when you think about pyramid and scheme, you automatically think negative of it. But honestly, like, schemes is a plan.
Okay.
So a lot of times we go off of what somebody else have told us about different things instead of finding out for yourself. So I was diving into network marketing. I came across this young lady on social media, and it's so crazy because I had reached out to that young lady. She didn't answer back. That's why it's always important to answer your DMs, because you could be missing out on an opportunity. And so just still following that young lady, I saw someone else who was hanging with her, and I ended up reaching out to that young lady, which was Coach Stormy Wellington.
Okay.
And she responded back. And so that's how I began network marketing. And I still partner with Network Marketing TLC to this day because, in order to make those coins, you have to at least have seven business ventures.
Okay.
So TLC, which is a wellness program, they're known for their detox tea. I began selling that. And that introduced me just to what network marketing really teaches you is mindset shift. It teaches you mindset shift and how to really, who is the product. That's what I took from it.
Okay.
And a lot of times we be thinking like a physical item is the product. We're the product. You are the product, no matter what. So yeah, that's how I began network marketing. My team was called Team Bay. Because after then, I still have this posted on my wall to this day in my room. It's so crazy. It was 5,000 a day. That's Bay. Like, that is my ultimate goal. That was my ultimate goal because I've reached that goal.
Congratulations.
So it was to make $5,000 in one day. And so when I signed up for TLC, I was like, well, let's go on and ride with Bay. And so that's how Team Bay came along.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. I do remember seeing that on social media like years ago.
Yeah. So that's been now maybe 7 years.
Okay. That's so interesting because on one of the episodes I was talking to with my brother, we were talking about overnight celebrities. And like some people might tend to see you now and be like, dang, like that happened overnight. And he was explaining that when you research it, an overnight celebrity is something that happens between like 10 to 20 years to become an overnight celebrity. So it's amazing to hear that was 7 years ago. And again, we are talking to, guys, a multi-million-dollar lady here. Right. All right. So from there, then what was your next jump?
So from network marketing, I invested in some property.
Okay.
My grandmother. It was some property that my granddaddy promised me and the rest of my cousins, and being that I was the only one here in Birmingham, I was really the only one who was taking care of that property along with my grandmother. So I went ahead and bought my cousins out, or asked some of them, if they wouldn't mind signing the rights over to me, and they did. So we ended up selling that property, and this was the most amount of money that I had ever made within one transaction. That was $200,000.
Wow. Yeah.
And once I made that transaction, I realized like you can make a lot of money in a short frame of time. It's easier to make a lot of money in a short frame of time than it is in a long frame of time.
Okay.
And So that was the next big level up for me. And from there, I kind of found my independence from TLC, because even though to this day I'm still partnering with them, before that transaction, TLC was like my main bread and butter. But now I'm learning about finances, I'm learning about assets, and just how to maneuver with that. So yeah, that was my next big investment.
Okay. Did you ever see yourself kind of in real estate?
No.
Okay.
No, ma'am. And I'm still not fully in it. I just know that properties is I mean, that's what
Yeah.
it is. Real estate, if you're able to obtain a property, go to your local city hall, see about the foreclosures. It's so many, it's a plethora of assets out here to us that you can get little or nothing, but we don't know.
Right.
And so through there, it just started sparking just my interest in different ways to accumulate assets that would, at the time, it was just to make money. Now I have a totally different mind frame now.
Right. Right. Okay. So I see you brought some of your journals here with you today. When was this part of Bay kind of introduced to you?
So after we did the big transaction with real estate, I was feeling like, okay, what type of product can I have that's my own? And it's so crazy. Don't know one day me and one of the kids' dads, because hey, I'm just going. I have 3. I have 4 kids. I'm married. I've been divorced, and then in between, then I had a child.
Okay.
So altogether, I have 3 different dads to deal with, and one who at the time did not get along with at all. But it's so crazy how God will use just people
Yeah.
who you may think or you may not agree with. He'll use them to help you out. He had made a suggestion, which 2 of my powerful moves in the last 10 years, it was off of his suggestions.
Oh, wow.
Very smart guy. At the time, he just may not have just had the mental capacity as far as personally that, that I was willing to get along with. But he always gave great ideas. And he had told me about Fiverr. Had never heard about Fiverr. And he was like, why don't you check into Fiverr to try to develop your own product? Checked into Fiverr, and at the time, what I was learning, my 90-some-year-old grandmother, she just passed away last year at 100.
Oh, wow.
She had always talked to me about journaling. One year when I was pregnant with my son, she actually gave me a box of her old journals. And I learned the power of journaling. I learned that if you write it down like God told us to.
Yeah.
Like God told us.
If
If you write it down and make it clear, it not only, I say, and this is the way, how you have to tell yourself sometime, why do it? It's a receipt. It's a receipt not only for you, but for God to show you, like, okay, remember when you wrote this down, and remember how faithful I am to the things that you want. And so I knew that journaling had been working for me before. I've always been the type that would write things down, but I would use a diary or journal as a place to vent instead of a place to go and show gratitude. And at the time, gratitude journaling was on the cuff of rising. And I was like, okay, yeah, this gratitude journaling is working out for me. Got with a guy on Fiverr. He charged me $35 to make a journal. Made that first journal. He gave me the instructions how to upload it to Amazon KDP. I went in and I did that, and just like that, I was a published author. And so I celebrated that.
Yeah.
Because it was a big deal. It is a big deal. Anytime, it's so easy now to become a published author. So I did that, and from then it was like a snowball effect, because I took everything I had learned from network marketing and applied it to my own business.
Yeah. So it's good that you're building off of past situations.
Yeah, everything is a building block.
Yeah.
Everything is a step. That's the reason why you take it and you elevate. You take what you've learned in this season and you elevate. You take even the failures or even the challenges and you use it as a block to keep rising. Because once, if you make a mistake, if you hit a challenge and you're able to come around it, then you could package that up and sell it because you're now solving a problem for somebody who's at that step.
Yeah, yeah, and people are quick to buy stuff that solve their problems. They
Yeah,
ain't
that's
gotta
what
think about it.
that's what we circulate our money with every day, all day. When we're hungry, we'll go find somebody to feed us. When we want to look fly, we'll go find clothes to clothe us.
Yeah.
When we want knowledge, we'll go find a book to read to teach us. So you're constantly, when you're in circulation of the give and take, it's because people are solving your problems. And once you learn to obsess about solving people problems, you in there like swimwear.
Oh wow, that's good. That's good. So looking back, were you always a journal person?
I've always been a person who, wrote it down. Like back in the day, I would it was a diary then. I would just write so many crazy stories about guys I just looked at me twice. I'm talking about back in my younger days, you know. So I always had a vivid imagination, which we all do. God has given us our imagination. Is that we have to properly apply it. We have to properly apply it. Yeah.
Okay, nice, nice. Do you ever see yourself writing a book?
Girl, I got so many books. It's so crazy because when I was back in 2000 and between 2015 and 2018, I was working for the mayor at the time. I was in his public relations department. And on our downtime at the desk, I would take notepads and just write stories and different just little things. But, and you know, my sister, my good friends, they always tell me that I need to get on top of that. I have published a book, but it's more or less of a devotional.
Okay.
I have not personally, from what I would want to talk about, not yet. It's in the works. I have the manuscript. I just haven't put it together. Yeah.
Okay. You gotta get that on out.
Yeah, I gotta get that on out there. I gotta get that on out there.
Just remembering when I first met you, you used to do like my faux locks like back in the day, and honestly, to see your elevation, I don't even want to call it growth. Just to see your elevation has been like so mind-boggling. Like the emoji where it's like the head is exploding. It has, because it's almost as if like I would even say like I had to like reintroduce myself to you, or you had to reintroduce yourself, because I was like, dang, like this was the girl. And even then you were very encouraging, but now it's just like, I'm like, wow, like it's your evidence of what God can like truly do. And
and that's, and you know, when you ask God, and everybody will have this moment when you kind of, I say, yield and not surrender, because you surrender to an enemy. When it comes to God, we yield to his plan. You know what I mean?
That's good.
So when I finally yield to what God wanted in my life, it was like, oh, okay, you had the plan all along.
Yeah.
You had the plan. It's just that it took me having to get out the way.
Was there a detrimental moment that made you just be like, look, man, here you go? Or was it just kind of...
I think that's an ongoing thing.
Okay.
Because we are human. You know, you try to get ahead of God.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So it's a lot of times that I have to be like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he has given me this beautiful mind. It's almost like my mind is constantly like, what can I do next? And then also just piggyback it off of what you see social media and culture doing. You always feel like you have to do something. But with God, I'm learning like you don't have to do the most.
Yeah.
Like, you really don't.
Yeah.
You know, they have coined this phrase like booked and busy, like that is a good thing, which I mean, it's according to what season you in, but the ultimate goal is freedom.
Yeah.
Time freedom. You want that time freedom that no matter where you are, I could be sitting here with you, I could be making some money, I could be on a beach making some money. That's the type of freedom. I no longer want to be booked and busy. I think like the book and busy is for the world.
Yeah. Yeah, just be seen.
Yeah,
I've always said that though. I want to be the wealthy friend, not the famous one.
yeah.
Like I want to be the one that's on the back end and it's just like making things happen while you say it on the beach, enjoying my family instead of being the person that always has to be like in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So, what are some projects that you could possibly talk about that you have coming up? Whether it's another journal, another, just anything.
Well, the one that's coming up,
Okay.
within the next 30 days is one that it's along with my mother and my sister.
Okay.
We've all partnered together, and this will be our second year doing a vibe called Black. And so it's a soiree where we dress up and we honor like different businesses and just the vibe, the blackness, the culture.
Yeah.
It's the night before Juneteenth. It's at the Birmingham Museum of Arts, excuse me, the Birmingham Museum of Arts. And so when you think about planning something, like I said, this is our second year. I don't know, for me, I've always been like that last minute planner, for real. And so just taking this project on, it takes a whole year. Like we started last year. The year before then, we had started a year prior to that, just executing and getting everything together for one night. And so that's like a big project for me because I know it's something that I'm gonna pass on to my children. My sister is gonna pass on to her kids. And I'm very excited about a vibe called Black. And we're not just trying to have it here in Birmingham. Like, we want this to be like a nationwide.
Nice. How did that idea come to play?
It came to play just my mom. She's such an innovator. Wanting to give something to me and my sister, wanting to like build a bridge between the age gaps because my mom is in her 70s. I'm in my 40s. My sister is in her 30s. And whether we want to admit it or not, each age gap need each other.
Yeah.
And so the name of our group is the past, present, and the future. And we're just building that gap of like, what should we do financially? What should we do as mothers, daughters, sisters, friends, business owners? And so it's a couple of us. It's my mom, my sister. We are the main three. And then my mom's best friend, my best friend. And my mom was like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's, a lot of times we look for a seat at the table.
Yes.
And, great ones, we build that table. And so this was a table that my mom built for us. And I'm like, oh, this is dope.
Yeah. Shout out to mom.
Yeah, shout out to mom. Jokes.
All right, so if you could go back and tell younger Jenny O something, what would it be?
It would be like, know your worth.
Ooh.
Like, no matter what anyone says, and I know that's easier said than done, but I will go back and definitely tell Jen, like, girl, you are so valuable. You are a trendsetter. You are like a leader and not a follower. You know, everything that you go through, God is giving you the equipment to get through. That, like, you dope.
Yeah.
Like, you real dope.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we discount ourselves.
Yeah. We're our worst critics.
We're our worst.
We are our worst.
We are our worst critics, and it comes from just society just trying to fit in. And I think what I'm learning is God don't want you to fit in.
Yes.
Like my kids, for example, like the twins, they had pajama day yesterday, and just to be honest, I forgot. I give myself grace now. Like before, when I would forget things, I'd be like, oh, I'm a bad mom. No, you just forgot.
Yeah.
And so they went to school and they were like, well, Mom, what we gonna do when everybody have their pajamas on? You be you stand out.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to blend in. And I think for the longest, I wanted to blend in with the crowd, and that's not where greatness is built.
Yeah.
To be great, you come back and tell the crowd, teach the crowd how to stand out. Yeah. So.
And you hear a lot of success stories like that because a lot of people be like, I didn't hit that moment until I embraced who I was.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's some advice. Yeah, just embrace who you are. Stop
embrace it, like that weirdness, the funniness, the quirkiness. Just you, like God took his time and created you. And like when you embrace and understand, like that you're made in his image.
Yeah.
Like, yo.
Yeah.
I'm made in the image of the creator. Like,
Yeah.
I could be made like this book. I could be made like this couch. But he told each and every one of us uniquely, we're made in his image. So that means he ain't make no mistake.
Right. Not a one.
Not a one.
And then even if you want to look at social media, a lot of people that's going like viral and becoming famous, they're literally being themselves. They're waking up in the morning, hitting play, hitting record, and just doing what it do.
Right.
So that should just be like encouragement within.
That's encouragement. And I think like even with that would be holding a lot of people back, because let me say, like, if you haven't turned your phone into a pay phone, you playing.
Yeah.
You playing. Okay, and the thing about it is like what stops us the most is worrying about what the crowd is gonna think. And you just have to embrace who you are. It's gonna stick for who it's gonna stick. And even if the crowd talk, like everybody is, they have their opinion.
Yeah.
I think for me, what I had to learn is if I don't want to be judged, I gotta stop judging others. You know, and that's so easier said than done, because you can see somebody and you can be like, well, what? No, okay, that's her. Let me mind my business. Yeah. Because I know when I pop out, if somebody is like, what? I'm gonna be like, what? You know?
Yeah.
And so you have to take all that into just into consideration before you speak on things, before you judge things, because we don't know what's going on behind closed curtains.
That's true. And I was talking to my best friend yesterday because I had a moment with God and he revealed the generational curse that I had to break. And I was crying because I was just like, for years I've been praying about what this curse is I needed to break over my family. And she was like, some people just don't know why they're doing what they're doing. And I think that's where coming into extending grace. Because she was like, you were carrying yourself in a way that didn't seem that way. And people were judging you based on it, but you didn't know that was a curse that you needed to break. And so, like you said, some people are just, they showing up and they don't know the persona that they're putting on. Right. And so you have to extend grace and not judging.
Yeah, you have to, because we all go through, and we just, once I realized, okay, I don't want nobody judging me.
Yeah.
Like, that's a hard pill. It'll stop a lot of things. And, we all want the tea.
Yeah.
We all want to gossip. It ain't nothing like that. But I also learned, like, a lot of things that I spoke on, it started coming to my front door. Like, I remember back in the day, back in the school day, I learned to crack, and I learned comedy to, like, shield myself, because growing up I was like chubby. And so I learned the art of, okay, you funny, and it took me places because, oh, you hear that stomach. Because I did stand up comedy. Like, in these 44 years I've lived plenty lives, you know what I mean? But it was, each of them were building blocks. It was definitely a building blocks. But once I learned, like, okay, it doesn't feel good to be judged. It doesn't feel good to sit in the shoes of something I may have judged somebody. Like, growing up, I used to talk about kids who had different last names, siblings. All my kids have different last names. Like, for you to judge, and then for that judgment to come sit on your front door, it will humble you.
Yeah.
All of my kids, I have Chloe Kennedy, Emery Austin, and the twins have because they all have different dads.
Yeah.
And that come from just my decisions, but just think I was judging other people's parents' decision, or, just circumstances. So he would definitely, like, come put that thing back on your door. Come put it back on your door.
Yeah. Yeah. And then to even have discernment to understand that, because you have to become relatable to people. And so now when you're able to accept what you learn, it's easy for people to now hear from you,
right,
learn from you, and just want to get to know you, be around you.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. All right, so I know you've already said it, but I can't have a middle child podcast without asking, are you the middle child?
No, I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest. It's just my sister and I. We're actually 9 years apart. Yeah, so I'm the oldest, but my mom is the middle child.
Okay.
Like I said, I have 4 kids. I do myself have a middle child. Yeah, so yeah.
All right, so if you could leave the people with anything today, what advice would you give them?
One, trust in God.
Okay.
I mean, the biggest thing take that I could just tell anyone is just how good he is and how a lot of times we have not because we haven't asked. Make sure you're taking everything like it's almost like the roadmap, the instructions to life. Pull it out and pull the Bible out and see what it's talking about.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna give you the step by step play.
Yes. Every time.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times we think. I know for me, I thought it was kind of boring, but it's like no, you thought like your hottest movie, like everything that's going on now, it was going on back then.
Yeah.
If not worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be my biggest take. Like trust God, take everything to God, lean on him, and he will give you more than this world than man could ever give.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's true. That he will blow your mind.
He
each
would
time.
he would definitely blow your mind. And I remember the days where I would just ask him for enough for that night. And I cheated myself.
Oh.
We have cheated ourselves because we only ask for enough.
Yeah.
And he's sitting up there like, my child, I can give you so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's a gentleman. So he's not going to throw it on you.
I don't know, but you know, folks be saying like he's gentle. He's God. He don't play. He like the big OG.
Yeah.
He's the big gangster. Everything that everybody wants to be. That's like who God is. He don't play. He's generous. He'll give you the world, and all he's asking for you is just an ounce of faith.
Yes, that mustard seed. That little dot.
That little bit.
Okay. So if people wanted to purchase your journals, get in contact with you, kind of just follow you, what are some ways they can do that?
So I'm on all social media handles. It's Genio Anthony Williams on Instagram and Facebook. On TikTok, it's That's Bay. But you could type in Jennifer Anthony Williams and it should pop up. On YouTube, it's Genio and the House Crew.
Okay.
All our journals are on Amazon. Our journals, our notebooks are on Amazon. You can type in That's Bay or Jennifer Anthony Williams. We do have a That's Bay website, www.thatsbay.org. And you can hit me up, Jennifer Williams at thatsbay.org, for public speaking, for your digital outlet. Because let me just say this before I forgot to tell y'all, like that digital wealth, you talking about time collapse, money collapse, that's where it is. So yeah, you can reach me on all those social media handles. Like you can find me.
Okay, nice. So before we go though, I want to tap into the digital wealth real quick. Do you feel a person needs to discover who they are before they tap into a certain product that they want to sell, or do you think they can just like jump in at any time?
I think it's no time like now. You know, digital. It's the digital time frame.
Yeah,
we have different time frames. We had the agricultural. We had the technology age, and now it's the digital age. And I think if a person try to wait till they're prepared, they'll be waiting forever.
Yep.
Like that's procrastination. You have to jump in where you fit in. I always tell people like the best time to start was yesterday. The next best time to start is now, because now they also have it set up while you're learning, you could be getting paid.
Yeah. Like
when I purchased my first course, I was learning and I had it linked in my bio at the same time. And so it's so crazy because people are actually dealing with digital products each and every day. They just don't know it.
Yeah.
A lot of people just don't have the knowledge about it. So that's when you tune into my channel, my content, I'm going to pull you in. We're going to have fun, but I'm educating you on how to get to the bag.
Yeah. And we thank you for that.
Yeah.
Guys, so that means stop making excuses.
Stop it.
Get up. Get active, get going.
Yeah. Stop being scared. Stop thinking everything is a scam. The biggest scam is to go work on somebody else's dream for 40-some years. That's the scam. And letting them tell you, okay, well, you've worked for me. let me give you 15 cents. And
Yes.
you celebrate that 15 cents where you could be making like what you make in 1 year in 1 day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you, Jenny, so much for coming, spin game to us.
Yes.
Bringing your work of art. I got to get back into journaling. I've been,
You gotta get into it. You gotta get into it. You definitely have to get into it.
Yes, and thank you for just being the evidence of what God can truly do in a person's life.
And that's like, if I could leave you all with anything, the one thing, because like I said, you're gonna have that moment with God when he's gonna really just ask you, what is it that you want from me? Mine was wisdom, and that the people see you and not me.
That's good. That's good. Well, on that note, guys, I'm not saying anything else. Thank y'all for watching another episode of the Middle Child Podcast with your girl, Royal Bowes, and my guest, Jenny O. Thank you so very much again for coming and stopping by to talk to us.